Hilchos Yom HaKippurim, YK Halacha. The Rambam begins, Higdim dam hasoyer dam hapor. If he began the blood of the soya before the dam hapor. Let's go down to the Peirush and see what he means. Koidim sheyigmar avodosei, before he completes his service. Now the soya is supposed to be slaughtered after the dam hapor has already been placed in Kodesh HaKadoshim. He should spray from the dam hapor the way it's supposed to be done. And then the blood, he has to get new blood, so he needs new soyer, a new goat. And he slaughters it, and he takes from the blood and sprays it because in Kodesh HaKadoshim as the mitzvah is. And the first one is possible. Why is it? Because we learned it has to be. We learned it, if he did it before, it's not. If he slaughtered it before the blood that was sprayed inside, it is as if he did nothing. This halacha is, in fact, even though, as we pointed out, the slaughtering of the goat is done outside the Azorah. So why is it out of order? Why does it matter? Because it is part of the necessity of doing it inside. They have to slaughter it. Now, remember, he brought in the dam hapor, and then he came out of Kodesh HaKadoshim and placed it on a pedestal, and then he went out and slaughtered the goat, and he came back in, went into Kodesh HaKadoshim and came out and placed it either on the same pedestal or a different pedestal, and then he has to spray on the curtain. If he sprayed from the goat before the blood of the par on any part of this avodah that has to be done on the curtain, right? So here he has the option, after he's done the par, which should have been first, he did it second, so now he has to repeat and do pam shniya lachad dam hapor. He has to do the dam hasoyer after the blood of the par. So he's essentially spraying 3 times, but he doesn't have to bring new blood. Now we come to halacha hey. Nishbach adam. If the blood was spilled, actually meaning he took blood either from the par or from the soya, and in the middle he fell out of his hands, and now he doesn't have any blood to spray. He has to bring new blood. He has to start from the beginning. And he has to go back and begin in Kodesh HaKadoshim. And not from where he stopped. He might have been up to 1 above and 4 below. It doesn't matter. He has to start again. I guess the Mishnah cites this, the source of this is in Yuma 68. And the Mari Korkis brings the entire disagreement of the Tanoim. If he starts from the beginning or where he stopped. And the Rambam codifies the halacha like the Tanakama, that you begin from the beginning. Now we go to halacha Vov. If he finished doing that, what he had to do in Kodesh HaKadoshim, and he started to he took the par, the blood of the par, and he started to spray on the curtain. And now the blood of the par has spilled. He dropped it before he could finish all the 1 above and 7 below. Actually, Goma, until he didn't complete it. Therefore, he has to slaughter now a new par. But he doesn't have to go into Kodesh HaKadoshim anymore. Now he's up to the section of the curtain. He begins with Hilchos Yom HaKippurim. He has to start again from 1 above and 7 below for the par. But he doesn't have to do that which was in Kodesh HaKadoshim. Zion, we're up to halacha Zion. If you finish the spraying on the Peirush, and began to do it on the corners of on the Mizbeach Azov itself. He doesn't spray on the corners, he places it on the corners, but he began to place it on the corners. If he didn't finish all four corners, he has to bring another par. And he has to start off from the corner that he has to begin again. Each of these sections is separate from the other ones. He doesn't have to start all the way at the beginning in Kodesh HaKadoshim, or wherever he is, but he has to begin at the beginning. Now, Marie Korkus has a question. If the Matonis HaPar VaSoyer, is it each one a kapora by itself, or one kapora? Is it each one a separate atonement, the par, and a separate atonement, the soya, or they are essentially one group? What's the difference? If you finish the par, and he started the soya, and then the blood spilled out, so you have to again do the par, and then slaughter a soya, or you can right away slaughter a soya. In other words, do we attach the slaughtering of the soya, the goat, to the idea that it's after the par? And if just to explain it, if we begin with one par, and then he slaughtered the goat, and then he sprayed in Kodesh HaKadoshim, came out, let's say, even in Kodesh HaKadoshim, the par spilled. Now he's going out to slaughter a par. Now this par has been slaughtered after the soya. Does he have? So the Marie Korkus asks if he has to again slaughter another soya. And he writes that since we always slaughter the soya after the Matonis HaPar, there's no if they would be both, if the slaughterings would be in parallel at the same time, then they would be attached to each other. But since the slaughtering is done after the par has been slaughtered and the blood has been sprayed, that tells us that has completed the idea of slaughtering the par, and therefore the slaughtering of the par is inconsequential to the slaughtering of the soya. We're continuing in Halacha Zayin. Everyone is its own atonement, but in the matonis that are in the heichol, he's not sure if he finish placing the blood of the par on the peirush, and he started now to place the blood of the soya, and it's spilled. Now he has to bring another soya. There's a question: does he again have to spray from the par? Do we say that the spraying of the blood in each place is one unit, or not? And he is inclined to decide from the language of the Rambam Halacha Ches and Peirush HaMeir that everyone is by itself. And since he finished the par, it's finished, and it has nothing to do with the blood of the soy, even though it has to precede the dam of the soya. That the great men of his generation called him the rabbi, the Moifes Hador, the wonder of the generation, disagrees with the Marie Korkus in Eitz Chaim al HaTorah. He writes that the dam of the soya was spilled, and you have to spray again. He has to get a new soya. He doesn't disagree that you don't need to slaughter a new par, but you have to spray again because the sprayings are parallel. You do one and then the next one. And that, he says, is Halacha L'Moshe B'Sinai. Somehow he has, that is Halacha L'Moshe B'Sinai.